What is up, guys? Media Master Menard here today, and today we're talking about Mortal Kombat 11. And I wanted to make a video about this game earlier, but I wanted to make sure I had ample time with the game. So now that it's been about a week and a half since it's been out, I was going to make a normal review video, but I decided to ask a better question instead. And that question is, does Mortal Kombat 11 have too much emphasis on microtransaction or just too many microtransactions in general? So let's get into that right now and discuss how the game is overall and how the microtransactions affect your experience with the game. So let's start off with a mini review of the game and kind of my thoughts on the game and how I feel about it. And let's just start off by saying the mechanics of the game are really sound and it is definitely made well. Everything feels really smooth and responsive, though when you're touching any direction or any buttons, your buttons come out fast. It feels like everything feels good. So they did not rush the game or half-ass the game in any way. But the game does make some very interesting design decisions when it comes to how the combat takes place. They've decided to go for a more, I guess, calculated feel to the game where neutral and spacing is a lot more important than what is normally important in a Mortal Kombat game, which is a lot of pressure and mix-ups and melee attacks and combos and all of that fun stuff. So it's definitely a game that might not exactly feel like a normal Mortal Kombat game. And this isn't a bad thing at all, but it's just not really what I was expecting coming into this game, so there definitely is an adjustment period when you first start playing because you have to approach it a little bit differently than you did the other Mortal Kombat games. And there's one thing that I really did not like about this game. It has to be the fact that meter management has completely changed, and in my opinion, it's for the worse. Instead of having 3 bars and having to choose if you wanted to save it for an X-ray or use a combo breaker, etc., or enhance your attacks, now you have an offensive and defensive meter, both of which you can perform wake-up attacks or enhance your moves, but you actually still get an X-ray or a fatal blow, as it's called in this game, just for being low health. If you miss it, you still get it back. The only way it goes away is if you hit somebody with it and it connects. It's gone for all 3 rounds after that. I really just think it's not a good mechanic. You basically get free enhanced attacks, free extra combo damage, free X-ray attacks. I'm just not the biggest fan of that. And when it comes to, I guess, one other thing I don't like is how random some of the, I guess, critical attacks hit are. I mean, some of them are like, do a long combo and finish it with this little trigger. That's fine to me. That just gives you some extra damage. But sometimes they'll just get hit by I guess a crush counter uppercut and it's doing like 30% damage. It's crazy. I just think that's a little ridiculous and could be toned down because it seems like a lot of times this isn't happening on purpose. One thing that I really do like, because the game puts a lot more emphasis on the intricacies of fighting games, spacing, footsies, etc., they do have a really intuitive tutorial system in practice mode where you can see a lot of frame data and they teach you what the frame data means and what type of mind games you should be playing with your opponent and all of that fun stuff. I think it does a really good job of helping beginners who might not know about that stuff kind of help them along. And yes, the gameplay on screen, I look like a beginner. That's because I am at this game. I'm not very good yet, guys, but I'm working to get better, and the only way you can get better is to start somewhere. So I'm starting here. The story mode in this game, let's talk about other things besides the combat mechanics. So that's basically what I feel like about the combat mechanics of Mortal Kombat 11. I wish they were a little different, but overall, very solid. The story mode is actually incredible this time around. It reminds me of Mortal Kombat 9, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, it's cheesy, it's over the top, but that's what you want. It's overacted. Everything you come to expect from a Mortal Kombat story. It's really just refreshing. It's short and sweet. You get what you want out of it. I mean, it is just a good time, guys. So really, I recommend playing it if you think, oh, it's just a fighting game, I'll skip over the story. I think you guys should at least give it a chance. I mean, it really does feel like an action movie or a summer blockbuster superhero movie. It's just that type of vibe, and it's really a good time. Obviously, towers come back, and they have varying degrees of difficulty, but I think the real attraction here, and kind of where the controversy starts, are the Towers of Time, which kind of put you through these really hard challenges that have special stipulations that reward you with loot and whatnot. And a lot of people think it's kind of baiting you into spending money for the loot because these are unwinnable battles, but I've played quite a bit of the Towers of Time and I thought they were very winnable fights and they weren't too difficult actually, so I think people are complaining a little bit too much in that aspect of the game. So I think people just need to get good. But let's get into where the real controversy starts with this game. So let's get right to the point. Let's answer the question, do microtransactions affect this game? Because obviously you can tell by the way I just described it, I really do enjoy this game and what it has to offer, and the answer is absolutely yes. The microtransactions in this game are egregious and just honestly overkill. I honestly can't believe they thought they could get away with some of this stuff. I know there's been numbers thrown out there, like there's $6,000 worth of microtransactions you can buy on this game, and I think this is just predatory, man. The game, as good as it feels like the game was built around the microtransaction system, not the other way around. It feels like everything they did in this game was to just bait you into spending more and more money, not to enjoy your experience with the game. And I just don't know how they think like that as game developers. It should be noted, however, that they have taken some steps to kind of alleviate this problem. They've come out and recognized that what they did was overkill, but I think a lot of companies are kind of pushing the envelope, seeing how much they can get away with, and if things go bad and fans are angry, they're like, oh look, we listened to fans, we fixed it. But in reality, they're kind of just seeing how far they can go. So that's something interesting in my mind that we as gamers should keep our eyes on. So my first red flag for this game was when there's like 4 different forms of currency in this game. They've got like hearts, they've got combat coins, they've got soul fragments, and then they've got time crystals. I mean, what the heck? That is just way too many forms of currency. Right there, I already knew off the rip there was going to be a lot of kind of microtransaction baiting going on in this game, and let's just go into it further. The game starts off with 2 characters locked behind a paywall. Shao Kahn and Frost both cost $5 a piece. That's kind of taxing for being in the game day one and not giving it to us. That's not cool in my opinion. But on top of that, the Combat Pass is a whole extra $40. So if you want basically the full experience of this game, you have to spend $100. And I just think that's kind of overreaching a little too much. I mean, look at Super Smash Brothers. I'm willing to pay $5 for Joker because they released 80 characters or 70 characters, however many characters they gave you at launch. They're not trying to cheat you out of your money. They really tried to give you value. So I enjoy giving Nintendo my dollars for that character because they earned it. I don't think Mortal Kombat has earned anybody's money with these DLC characters yet, because the original cast only has like 22 people in it. I mean, that's pretty measly compared to what some other Mortal Kombat games have offered in the past. So that's just my opinion. And this all wouldn't be too much of a problem, but there's one game mode called the Crypt where literally it's just based around making you want to spend money. In previous games, the Crypt, you could kind of look it up online where you wanted to go because all the items would be in one spot, so you could get what you wanted, and I think everybody liked that because there's certain characters you play more and certain characters you don't play at all, so you want the stuff for the characters you play. But in this game, they've completely randomized everything, so it's literally loot boxes, and you use the in-game currency, which you can get through real life currency. So I mean, that's just kind of a joke in my opinion, but the Crypt is actually a really cool concept and is actually fun to go through. I like kind of exploring the little area they've set up. So I think they do have something good there, but I wish it wasn't so much of a grind to get the currency that you need to go past all these obstacles and whatnot that are inside of the Crypt. I know MKX's Crypt was a lot better in my opinion. So basically, because it's so hard to find a skin for the character you want, and you seem to get 1,000,000 for the ones you don't want, the game will tempt you with a $5 real-life purchase of any skin that's on sale at the time, for a limited time only in their shop. So I mean, they're really pushing the envelope, guys. That's all I have to say in that aspect. Let's talk about the menu system as a whole. I mean, every single thing in the menu seems like it's focused on how are we going to make you want to buy something with your hard-earned money. And I just think that's just not a good way to design a menu system. Sometimes it can be cumbersome because there's so many microtransaction ads, let's call them, and instead of facilitating the player in getting to where he wants to go, he or she wants to go, we have these menus that are like, hey, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want to buy this or that and that? I mean, come on, guys. Mortal Kombat, you can do better than that. And some people will say, oh, it's just cosmetic, don't worry about it, you're just making a big deal, it doesn't affect gameplay. But I mean, they're locking brutalities and fatalities and taunts and all this stuff behind a paywall, and fatalities and brutalities are really a part of what you pay for when you buy Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's a big allure of the game, and they're locking a lot of those, over half of them, behind paywalls. That's just kind of shady in my opinion. I think the attitude of, oh, it's just cosmetic as a whole is going to get us gamers into a lot of trouble. People as in game developers or game executives at publishers are really learning how to push the envelope and be sneaky and kind of try to do these things without making gamers as angry. And I think the first step is to understand, like, hey, you can have cosmetic microtransactions, but you can't push the envelope like they do in this game. And so hopefully the backlash or kind of response from gamers can get something fixed here and get something permanently fixed in the future for all of us gamers and any other game that will come out in the future. But I want to know what you guys think about Mortal Kombat 11 as a whole. Do you like the game, or are you not the biggest fan of the new gameplay style? Have you been a fan of Mortal Kombat for a while, and how does this one stack up to the other games? Are there too many microtransactions, and is it a detriment to the experience for you guys? Let me know the answer to all those questions down in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you guys more movies, TV, video game, and anime content. I'm going to leave a link to my Twitter and my Twitch channel in the description below so you can find out when I post a new video or go live on Twitch. And until then, this is Master Menard, signing off.
Now look at the top, I'm going crazy, who wearing the crown? Scoodly bop, doodly bolly, doodly down. Doodly 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 doodly.